people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Welcome to the motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news. Ow!
Okay, we'll start with this. A bit of news from out of the women's minimum weight division. Reigning unified minimum weight champion Yokasta Valle of Costa Rica posted this to his social media, and it reads, "Breaking news. My sister and I are sharing the ring again this March 25th in Guanacaste, Costa Rica.
Likely a keep busy fight.
There are only 3 champions remaining in the women's minimum weight division, and 2 of them are set to share the ring with each other very soon. Senicia Estrada and Tina Ruprecht. They're going to be squaring off against each other on the undercard of Jose Ramirez versus Richard Comey. That WBC, WBA unification match.
I favor Senicia Estrada to win that thing. Should be a fun fight to watch.
Both Senicia and Tina, respectively, differences aside, set a very fun pace for their fights. They are action fighters, and their fights are action fights. Put 2 action fighters in the ring with each other. What do you think you're going to get?
Action.
The winner of the fight, whoever it is, and I anticipate that the winner will be Senicia Estrada, they will have only one champion left to target, only one champion left to corner, and that champion is unified champion of Costa Rica, Yokasta Valle, who indicates she will be in action later on this month.
The same day as Senicia Estrada versus Tina Ruprecht.
Literally the same day, the renaissance of Yokasta Valle as a fighter, a 3-division champion.
Having already been a champion at atom weight, minimum weight, and light flyweight, currently she reigns in the women's minimum weight division as a unified champion.
Ranking in at number 9 on the current Ring IQ pound-for-pound list.
She had a very productive 2021 and even more productive 2022. Very recently enlisting the aid of Coach G, Gloria.
Yokasta Valle has improved as a fighter over time, and you can see those improvements fight by fight. Last year was a very big year for her. She didn't just unify titles in the minimum weight division. She moved up to light flyweight and became a unified champion up there as well, taking on unbeaten Evelyn Bermudez for what were the IBF and WBO titles.
The last 2 years have been very productive for Yokasta Valle.
Having fought 3 times in 2021, 4 times in 2022. 2 of those fights.
2 of them were against unbeaten champions. The last 2, the minimum weight unification match with Vietnam's Thi Thu Thi Nguyen and the light flyweight fight with Evelyn Bermudez.
The following that she's amassed in her native Costa Rica, she gets great turnout, great crowds, great crowd participation for her fights. You really have to wonder if when push comes to shove,
when the smoke settles between Senicia Estrada and Tina Ruprecht, will Yokasta Valle be willing to gamble what she's got against the winner? Tina beat Yokasta before.
5 years ago in 2018.
5 years later, she's set to share the ring with Senicia Estrada, an even more dangerous fighter than Tina is.
You have to wonder if Senicia Estrada beats Tina Ruprecht, and I think she can. I think she will. When push comes to shove and the time comes, will Yokasta Valle unify titles with her? All the progress she's made and the titles she's collected, everything she's done, all the work,
the momentum.
She goes in there with Senicia Estrada, it's in jeopardy, and you have to wonder if the fight will actually materialize. That in tandem with Senicia Estrada being over there at Top Rank and Yokasta Valle being over there at Marv Nation / Golden Boy Promotions.
Both promotional outfits co-promote Yokasta Valle.
Yokasta Valle would likely make more money opposite the ring, Senicia Estrada, than most anyone and everyone else at or around these weights, but it's not without its perils. While it pays the most money,
she does.
Senicia Estrada, she also poses the greatest risk.
I don't say these things to slight Yokasta Valle. I think she's a great fighter, one of the best.
I don't think she's on Senicia Estrada's level, and when the time comes, you have to wonder if the fight between them will materialize.
She's set to return to action the same day as Senicia and Tina, likely against a keep busy kind of opponent in what will be a keep busy kind of fight.
Beyond that, there is a question as to whether or not Yokasta Valle will bite the bullet and take on the winner of Estrada versus Ruprecht, especially if the winner is Senicia Estrada.
We'll see. But now keep your eyes peeled for the ring return of Yokasta Valle and her younger sister, Naomi Valle, later on this month, on the 25th.
When are you guys out there gonna start understanding? Right? It's not about the money. I'll fight him for free. As long as the tickets are free for the general public, fuck off. You want money, you want too much money, you're not the draw you think you are. That fight's not as big as you think it is. Everyone talks about big fights in the Middle East for heavyweight world championship. Well, guess what? There's only one person that's delivered big fights in the Middle East, and that is moi. Right? 3 fights, 3 world heavyweight championships, 2 in Saudi Arabia, and also the big card in Abu Dhabi as well. Greed. If you are about legacy, if you want to be undisputed, then you take the fight. Oh, so you're going to get 50 or 60 million instead of the 80 or 100 or 125 million that you asked for. Fuck me.
Eddie Hearn didn't pull no punches. In truth, though, Eddie Hearn didn't say anything there that I haven't already said here on this channel. Tyson Fury is a good boxer and he can draw a bit, he can, but he's overstating his own value.
He's overshooting it.
All that crap about the Saudis not being able to construct the stadium or the arena or the whatever it was on time in order to do the fight between him and Usyk, yeah, that's bullshit.
What are you trying to kid?
In Saudi Arabia, which is not going to be, because they're not anxious to do that fight in the time period required. Forget, you got to put that aside, because that money was really very big compared to what is realistic. The pay-per-view, the American pay-per-view, and the other revenue from foreign sales will be very, very big as a fight, you know what I mean? But it pales by comparison to the Saudi money.
You moved the fight from Saudi over to the United Kingdom, even though you would have got more money in Saudi than what you stand to make in the United Kingdom.
And while that's not the initial cover story that they came out with when news broke that the fight would be moved.
Even if we go with that story, just for argument's sake, so you would have had to wait a little while longer for the Saudis to construct that stadium so you could fight Usyk there, it still would have been for more money.
All you would have had to do was wait.
You moved the fight from Saudi over to the UK, where it don't pay as much, and now you're jeopardizing the fight not happening at all.
What do you make if the fight don't happen at all?
What's your purse gonna look like then? And these questions are only raised if we go with that initial explanation. If we go with the cover story that the reason they moved the fight from Saudi over to the UK was because the Saudis couldn't get the venue up on time.
Most people don't believe that. They think that's bullshit. I think that's bullshit.
So does Eddie Hearn. He knows because he's done a lot of business with those people.
He's in the loop.
It's not about the money. I'll fight him for free. As long as the tickets are free for the general public, fuck off. You want money, you want too much money, you're not the draw you think you are. That fight's not as big as you think it is.
It's becoming more and more apparent that what Tyson Fury did in Saudi Arabia was he priced himself out. And in doing so, he lessened the size of the pot for everybody, the size of the pot overall due to his own greed. And now the fight is in jeopardy.
This is all on him.
Hold on, that's not what I said. I didn't say my content on the day. I said what you're bringing to the ring as a matter of course. You've got somebody, you can't have a one-off event. You can't have an undisputed fight without 2 fighters that are holding the belt. So he comes into the ring with an equal standing.
He doesn't though. That's where you're wrong. The equal standing comes on people's bums on seats. You just said that about filling Wembley Stadium or the pay-per-view.
Let me finish the point then. 94,000 fans at Wembley. Right? What's that going to bring? 15 million quid. Right. So let's have a look at that then. 15 million quid.
So he should get 60% of that.
So he can have 60% of the gate receipts, and they can have a 60-40 split on the winner on the basis of pay-per-view. Yeah. You can cut this how you want. Right, but if you want to make it about the fact of being in England, because they can't sell this fight in Ukraine, right, for obvious reasons, so you put it into England because that's the logical place to put it, you carve it up a different way. Tyson is singing one song and doing another.
You mean the contradiction of I'm not doing it for money, I'll beat him anyway, and then saying I want...
Well, if you're going to get 60-40, then if you're going into that fight and you believe you're going to win, you believe you are what you say you are,
just say yes.
You grab it.
You take it.
You take it.
And
that's what Krasiuk's saying there. He's saying, look, this is the situation. 60-40, the winner taking 60. Now, as you rightly say, Simon, Tyson is so full of confidence in his own ability. He's such a self-confident fighter. You would think he'd be, yeah, I'll go with that
Well,
because
it's
I'll win and
but
I'll
he's
take
not
the 60.
stupid.
But
He
it's-
knows that it could go the other way. I mean,
And he'll be the first person to say that. And we're not the ones stepping in the ring. We're not the ones getting a punch in the face. But we're also not the ones getting paid £30 million a fight. We're also not the ones that make a hullabaloo about how good we are and what we're going to do in this division and how we're going to retire and who we're going to beat. And it's come to the point now where boxing is a fascinating, intriguing sport. But either these fights are going to happen, and if you get an opportunity for the holy grail, the supposed holy grail of heavyweight boxing, for a fight for the undisputed, and you're going to make it about a principle.
For those of you out there who want to argue that it's the principle of the thing, those of you out there who want to argue in Tyson Fury's favor that it's the principle of the thing holding up the fight, that Tyson Fury is entitled.
So you must care more about the principle than becoming undisputed, because what Team Usyk has proposed...
60-40 split in favor of the winner. And if you like your chances, you do the fight. If you like your chances, you believe you can beat him, you believe he's a middleweight, he don't belong in the same ring with you, you run over him, you take the fight.
You like your chances so goddamn much as you carry on about your chances, it shouldn't bother you. You're still going to get the lion's share if you win.
So why not accept? Is it because you're questioning whether or not you can win? I mean, seriously, what's the holdup? All of these business-oriented conversations for a fight involving a guy that claims he's not a businessman.
You could have fooled me.
Tyson Fury is not as he appears. He isn't what he says he is. He can be a good boxer. He can be a damn good boxer. But he can still be a fraud in other ways. He can still be a fraud in other areas. And people are finding that out.
He's a charlatan!
A trickster. A guy who runs around telling every man, woman, and his dog that he's a Spartan and he's not a businessman. But this entire conversation involves business. And even worse, that this is the dog and pony show we've got to go through. To watch you fight a guy that Anthony Joshua fought twice. No problem.
No issues.
Eddie Hearn continued. Anthony Joshua fought Usyk back-to-back. No fucking problems. Fury says it's not about money. I'll fight him for free. Fuck off. You want money? You want too much money. You've all been played all these years.
You have. Who do you think this guy is?
Because the people that promote him, the people that are invested in him, tell you that he's up there with the Joe Lewises and Muhammad Alis of the world.
You just go with it.
Because of what? What? Because he spent the better portion of the last 3 or 4 years fighting the same guy 3 times?
You just go with it without thinking about it.
You give Anthony Joshua all this grief, all this shtick, because he lost to Alexander Usyk, but he didn't put you through this dog and pony show just to fight that guy.
So that when Tyson Fury's got to fight that same guy who he claims is just a middleweight, guy he claims he can run over, we can have to go through this?
Nobody's asking him to do anything that we wouldn't ask any other heavyweight, any other fighter to do in this exact same situation. We're not asking him to do anything that Anthony Joshua didn't do already.
Fight him and get it over with.
While you pout, throw your toys out of the pram, that you don't stand to make the same money that Anthony Joshua made. Well, maybe it's because people don't like you as much as they like Joshua.
What are you gonna do about it? Go cry in the corner?
Do your job. There's a quote out there from Shane Fury, Tyson Fury's brother, that seems to indicate if things don't work out with Alexander Usyk for Fury, he might move on to an Andy Ruiz fight. Andy Ruiz, the former unified champion. If the undisputed fight can't be made, I think Andy Ruiz is a good opponent. A good name, and he's in good form, and fans would want to see that fight. But we really want the undisputed fight. He can't stay out of the ring any longer.
Andy Ruiz is not an adequate substitute for Alexander Usyk.
This fight isn't outside the realm of possibility because we don't know for sure that Andy's going to fight Wilder in their very next fight. We don't, in spite of the WBC having ordered it. And if you're Andy, why fight in a title eliminator with Wilder when you can fight Tyson Fury straight away? Assuming Tyson Fury actually is looking at Andy Ruiz.
And he might be. Shane Fury brought him up. I'm going to assume he didn't bring him up for no reason.
I will reiterate, fighting Andy Ruiz in place of Alexander Usyk, no, that's not an adequate substitute. It isn't. The fight with Usyk is for all the marbles, and the fight with Usyk has a genuine air of intrigue, whereas with Andy...
The fight fans, the bookies, the odds makers, they'd have Tyson Fury the lopsided favorite, the wide favorite to beat Andy.
Joseph Parker already beat Andy Ruiz, quite controversially. Anthony Joshua beat Andy Ruiz in their second fight, won a lopsided decision.
You can't swap out Usyk for him.
Not as equal, it's not equivocal, and you won't make the same money fighting Andy that you could be making fighting Alexander Usyk Usyk, but Andy, he might be a little bit easier to beat and easier to A-side.
Nowhere near as athletic as Alexander Usyk, nowhere near as fast on his feet.
Doesn't pose the same challenges that Usyk does. And Tyson Fury, he might be able to box circles around this guy. So on that premise, could the Fury people be looking at an Andy Ruiz Jr. fight?
Is that the backup plan?
Shane Fury brought him up. Shane Fury mentioned him, and we know that here and now, the Wilder versus Ruiz fight hasn't been announced. That doesn't seem to be done. Don't seem to be official.
Tyson thinks he can use Andy as a substitute for Usyk. He'll find out very quickly it won't suffice.
Meanwhile, former champion Anthony Joshua prepares for the upcoming Jermaine Franklin fight, saying in terms of talent, you can't deny the man. Popularity doesn't win fights. Quite right. If it did, he would have beat Usyk and Canelo. He would have beat Bivol.
Popularity's no substitute for ability.
Dillian Whyte recently complained that he felt disrespected because he was led to believe that his win over Franklin would have catapulted him into a rematch with Anthony Joshua. Here's the thing. Because White's popular doesn't mean that he's going to win.
Joshua told today, Oladipo.
Popularity doesn't win fights. Jermaine Franklin is a fighter. Whether you know of him or not, that's your research and how much you invest into research and the whole business. But in terms of talent, you can't deny the man. When a man turns up in that ring to fight, he's coming to fight you and take your head off. That's what he tried to do with Dillian.
You notice some people actually think he beat Dillian?
Only for many of those same people to complain that now Anthony Joshua's fighting him. Now Anthony Joshua's fighting Jermaine Franklin in what is so obviously a rebound fight that he needs because he's coming off of 2 consecutive losses to Usyk.
Tyson Fury gets to have a trilogy with Derek Chisora that nobody asked for. Wilder gets to rebound off his losses with an old sparring partner.
It's going to be hypocritical that Anthony Joshua is rebounding off of his loss with Jermaine Franklin, who many people think beat Dillian Whyte.
You know what the best part is? The best part is if Anthony Joshua were boxing Dillian Whyte instead of Jermaine Franklin, they'd complain about that. But he's not boxing Dillian Whyte, he's boxing Jermaine Franklin, so they complain about this. Whether we expect more from Dillian, I feel like you should not underestimate your opponent, Joshua said. Even though we expect so much from Dillian, let's not put his opponent down here because his opponent is still worthy enough to step in the ring with him. Perhaps Anthony Joshua is taking his foot off the gas, but he's got enough reason to do so. He's rebounding off 2 consecutive losses and he's breaking in a brand new trainer.
We're expecting the matchmaking for Anthony Joshua under these circumstances to be more ambitious than Wilder's and more ambitious than Tyson Fury's.
There's nothing wrong with this fight.
And even better, it's not being billed as a box office fight. It's not being billed as a pay-per-view to either me or you. They're giving this one away as part of your regular DAZN subscription. Now, if you ain't got one, you're up shit's creek without a paddle, pal.
Those are you problems.
Got no issues with the Jermaine Franklin fight. I think it's a good fight. Very good fight for Anthony to try to get himself back in the winner's bracket and work on things.
Never mind the critics, because with the critics, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Nothing's gonna satisfy them.
You gotta tune those people out. Go through the motions, rebound off the loss, and move on. That's the first order of business.
Never mind all the other stuff.
It's important right now. Some people ain't gonna be happy until you broke down and in the gutter. It's your job to not give them what they want.